yeah, I thought it'd be a really good opportunity for us to dive back in and really establish of our goals, really look at our goals and what they all mean, and try and get a routine back in place basically and help you with your journey as well. I also think we're getting towards the end of February now. March is around the corner. It is crazy because it's so cold outside, but it's literally is going to be time to start thinking about summer goals, kind of where you're going to be going. Some of you might have holidays booked in like May, June time. And if that's you, it's like wedding season. If that's you, then it's a really good opportunity now to start building that in and building those healthy habits in so that you can get to where you need to be by that point and you're not going on some sort of crash diet or fad diet to be able to get there as well. So that's what it's all about today. Basically giving you the tools that you need to be able to achieve those goals that you want to achieve with your fat loss as well. So let's dive right in and sort of go into what this is all about. So first of all, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit around who I am and kind of what I do and sort of where I've come from. So this is a little bit around my journey. You've probably seen it on my page as well. So these two pictures, there's a crazy difference between these two photos. The first one is when I'm like 17, 18 years old. So I'm really young there. And the next one is me now. So I'm 28 now. So it's like 10 years later. So between these two photos, absolutely massive change with my own fitness journey. So there's 20 kilograms between these. I've put on weight in terms of that change. So from the first photo, I'd say I was very sort of like unconfident, insecure, sort of a big obsession around like food, wanting to be the smallest version of myself. And between the two photos, like my mindset around food, nutrition, sort of how I view everything, exercise has changed completely. And I've kind of just established this really healthy relationship with food, exercise, and really wanted to fuel my body to feel stronger and to feel the best version that I can. And I guess that's made me really passionate about helping ladies in all positions to feel that because I think whoever we are and wherever we are, whether it's fat loss, whether it's sort of you wanting to gain strength in the gym, whatever that might be, I think it's so easy, especially for that era of ladies, if you have been born sort of in the 90s, I think it's so easy to have this negative perception around food because food was always seen as like the less you eat, the better it was. And I think that's just how it always was when we were growing up. When we was teenagers, people would always be like, eat less, eat less, eat less. And that was normal. And sort of like the smaller you were, it was almost like praised. And it's not always the case. And I want to see, and I want you guys to come away from this knowing that even if you are on a fat loss journey, often it's really very much about you changing and manipulating your body composition. Because maybe initially it'll be on a fat loss journey that you're on, but thinking more long term, you're going to be wanting to gain that strength, you're going to be wanting to gain muscle so that you can get to where you want to be. And that's what my journey was kind of all about. And don't get me wrong, there's lots of ups and downs between this journey as well. It wasn't just sort of like a straight path from me going from being this size here to the size at the end. And there's lots of bits in between that I'm going to talk about. But basically, as I was going through this journey, and from the photo sort of on the left here, as I was going through it all, what I realized was the more I was eating and the more comfortable I got with eating more, like food was making me feel so much more happier, so much more confident. I just didn't question as much anymore. And I think when you get to that point where you realize that food is so much more than just calories in, calories out, it's culture, it's experiencing different types of food on holiday, it's experiencing, family time, it's about building relationships, it's about building bonds with people. It's so much more than just your fitness goals and it gives you so much more as well. I found that when I was being that sort of smaller version of myself and sort of obsessing over the food and the calories, which I think quite a lot of us can be in a fat loss journey as well, all we're thinking about is sort of eating less and less and less and less and less and not seeing it as fueling my body. What I found was like my emotions were all over the place. Like I would always be thinking about the next meal, even though I just had a meal. And it just wasn't healthy to the point where in this end picture, I probably just don't even really think about food. It just happens. I eat when I'm hungry and that's what I do. And I think that's the point that you really want to be getting to. It's not just the fat loss that you want to achieve. It's that well-rounded relationship with food, nutrition, and having that mindset of wanting to feel stronger and fueling your body rather than just thinking, I want to be the smallest version of me. I don't want to be, it's about changing that mindset. And if I can do that and empower ladies and you guys to be able to get to that point where, yes, maybe you are starting with a fat loss journey, but seeing food as fuel, I think it's just such a mindset shift and it's so empowering. But in terms of where it got me to, sort of when I did get into, so this was kind of earlier on, but in the midst of things, I started my career as a teacher. And one of the big challenges that I faced on this sort of weight gain journey that I was on and a journey with my health and fitness was that when I started my busy career as a teacher, and I know I've got lots of teachers inside the program as well, so I'm sure that they can relate if they're here on the call, or maybe if you guys started a career sort of out of university, you can relate as well. But what I found was like my health and fitness just went absolutely to pot because I was completely focused on my career. It was a new career. I felt overwhelmed, like I felt in the deep end. I didn't know what I was doing. All of a sudden, I was in the front of this classroom with the children, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And yeah, quite understandably, I think my health and fitness got put to the back burner, and I struggled so much with like my digestion. Again, my confidence was sort of at rock bottom, and I felt like I'd not really come out of this journey of being this smaller version of myself to I'd gone into teaching. I was kind of in the midst of trying to build fitness in and the weight gain, but I'd not really had that much success at this point. And I just felt lost and I didn't feel like I had control over any of it. And the relationship that I had with my own self and showing up to work every single day, I just didn't feel like the best version of myself. I didn't feel confident standing up in the classroom. There was days where I'd feel so bloated and uncomfortable, and I just didn't feel like a confident version of me. And teaching is a job where you need to feel confident because the kids see right through you. Like if you don't show up feeling super confident in that on that day, like it's so noticeable. And it was just this was the point where I was very much like I need to take control, and that's when I very much was like, right, I'm going on a journey. I need to prioritize myself around my career, because if I don't start prioritizing myself around my career, I'm never going to get to where I need to be. And I put that time in basically to get to where I am now. And it wasn't an easy journey, but it's a journey that I got to. And I think over the years where I was teaching, I really made sure that I was exercising, when I needed to exercise throughout the week, at least 3 or 4 times a week. I was prioritizing my nutrition and prioritizing my rest as well, which was so important because the job itself is such a draining and tiring job. I had to look at all of these things. And by the end of my teaching career, I was in a place where I had to come first because I knew that I couldn't show up as the best teacher in the classroom. I couldn't show up as the best version of me without putting myself first. Otherwise, I just couldn't do that. And actually, it was better for the children for me to be able to do that. And I think that applies to absolutely all jobs that you're in, whatever your career. You need to put yourself first before you can put that work first. Otherwise, you are just not going to show up as the best version of you. And yeah, I guess this is where I am and why I'm sort of doing what I'm doing, because I just think it helps so much having that confidence. Your fitness journey is not just about changing the way you look. It can really truly shape your life and how you show up in so many different areas. And I'm so passionate about sharing that and hopefully bringing you guys along with the journey as well. So let's dive into why you're all here and go into what the masterclass is all about and what you're going to get from the masterclass today. So this is specifically designed for a fat loss masterclass. So we're going to be looking at how you can structure your fat loss journey over the next few months, especially as summer approaching. We're going to be looking at what is a realistic journey and what a realistic journey should look like for you. We're going to be looking at the structure of your workouts and how you're going to aid them to support you with your busy career, how you're going to be able to support them to help you with your fat loss. And we're going to be looking at sort of what foods you should be eating to help you with fat loss too. And then finally, we're going to be looking at some mindset hacks. So as I'm rambling on, you guys do me a massive favor, please. Put in your number one goal that you want to achieve into the group chat for me. Your number one goal that you want to achieve by, say, where are we now? We're going into March, April, May. So by the end of May, heading into June, what is your number one goal that you want to achieve with your health and fitness? Feel free to ping it into the chat for me. I know she shared a little bit around this earlier, but I think it's just good to hear a little bit around you guys and what you want to achieve as well as we're going through this. So just a bit of an example of what you can achieve in that amount of time. So this is one of my clients' Neve. So this is her 12-week transformation. So between these two photos, there's 10 kg. When she first started out in that first photo, she was very new to the gym. She didn't know what she was doing. She felt very unconfident in the gym as well. She felt like she didn't kind of know how to build that structure around her routine. So together we built a plan around her workouts. We started off with some home workouts initially, just to build her confidence around them. We really focused on her nutrition. We focused on daily activities like steps, making sure we could get them all in. And then after a couple of weeks, she felt confident enough to go into the gym. And with the right plan, she was able to completely change her body composition. As you can see, she just looks phenomenal, and she's 10 kg down in the 12 weeks, which just gives you an idea of where you might want to be. So as you're writing your goals into the group chat, think about what sort of numbers do you want to achieve by that point. What is your dream? Do you want to be 10 kg down? Do you want to be 5 kg down? Like, what is important to you? Another example is Victoria. Victoria is a fellow teacher, a little bit like myself. Again, this is her 12-week journey. She's 6.3 kg down between these two pictures, and I'm sure you'll agree like the transformation is absolutely amazing. With Victoria, we started her plan actually in September. It was at the start of the teaching year. So a big priority for us was making sure that it worked around her teaching career and worked around her busy schedule in teaching, because otherwise it just wouldn't be successful. So we put a plan in place that was 3 workouts a week because that's what was feasible for her. We made sure our nutrition was on point again, easy to prep food, all fitting around her career, and she put in the work and she got to see the results. So again, it might give you an idea of the sort of numbers you want to achieve by the end of that 12-week period, as we're headed into summer, sort of like June time as well. So it just gives you an idea of what you can achieve. So how can you actually structure your fat loss journey so you are feeling confident, so you know that what you're going to be doing is successful? What can you put in place to be able to achieve those results that you want to achieve and make sure it's effective as well? Because we want to make sure that we're having effective results and effective goals. Because the thing is, if you are not achieving, if you can't see where you're going or that path, and that path's not working, then the results that you want to get out of it, you're never ticking that box. And I think that if you're never ticking that box off as you go, it's so hard to stay motivated. So yeah, let's make sure that we can get a structure in place that allows you to achieve those goals that you want to achieve. Otherwise, it's just really, really tricky to sort of get there. So today you're going to get a fat loss blueprint. So I'm going to show you how to the exact method that you need to be able to drop 5 to 10 kg in the next 12 weeks. So it's going to help you with a routine, it's going to help you with a plan, it's going to help you to get all of these in place, and you're going to understand what's realistic in terms of the goals that you want to achieve. You're going to understand what you can actually achieve in that time. And I hope by showing you sort of like Neve, I'm just going to flip back, and Victoria's journey here, you can sort of get a bit of an idea of what is realistic for you and what you want to achieve with the right plan that's in place. So let's dive into what you actually need to look at and what you need to get in place to get the fundamentals of this journey. Now, obviously this journey, like I said earlier, we want it to be about you building your confidence. We want you to be about you feeling like a better version of you, showing up as a better version of you in all of those different areas of life. Your relationships, work, for the children, if you've got children at home, maybe for your kids. But to do that, we need to start with the fundamentals, and it often comes from getting in place those changes to help you lose the weight so you do feel more confident in the way that you look. And unfortunately, that's where confidence often stems from. If we feel confident in how we look and how we feel, then that's where that confidence comes from, and that's where our attitude starts to change. The mindset part of it is the hardest part to change, but if you can nail that physical part of it in the next 12 weeks, your mindset will start shifting that time too. But then you can really work on that for the remainder of the year so that you're coming out of 2025 the best version of you. So breaking the toolkit down really, really simply, these are the things you need to be able to lose that 5 to 10 kg in the next 12 weeks. Number one is the exercise. You need to get your exercise right. If you're not getting the exercise right, then you're not going to be able to see the results that you want to see. Number two is nutrition. Dead simple. If you're not getting the nutrition right, again, you're not going to see the results you want to see. Exercise and nutrition, both of them are as important as each other. If one of them's out of whack or out of balance, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. It's so important that you get both from there. Finally, mindset, and this is the third area again. Again, it's so important that you're getting the mindset side of things right. If you have not got the strong mindset there, and if that is something that you're really, really struggling with, then that's going to mean that it's going to lean into and impact your nutrition. It's going to impact the exercise that you're doing as well, because you're not going to be able to stay consistent. And consistency over the 12 weeks is probably arguably the most important side of all of this, because if you're not being consistent, it's going to be really hard for you to stay on track. Now, in the group chat, thank you so much for putting your goals in there. So great to see, and I love that you've got some really specific ones there. Which one of these do you think you struggle the most with out of all of them? Would you say exercise, nutrition, mindset? Which one at the minute are you feeling like, oh, that's one that I am just not sure about? That's one that I'd like to work a little bit more on. That's one that I think I need a little bit more help with as well, because I think that'll really help as we're going into this. And if you do have any particular questions about any of those areas, ping it into the chat as I'm talking. I've pulled it up. So if you're like, oh, nutrition is something I really struggle with, and you think, oh, this element of nutrition actually, maybe understanding my protein a little bit more, put it in the group chat, because I can really tailor this to you to help you as much as I can during this training. Utilize this free training as much as you can, so that you can take away as much as you can from it as well. So if there's anything specific, I can't ever say that word, specific, as I'm going through this, tell me so that I can pop it in for you. So let's start off with the workouts then, because obviously this is a big area that we need to be able to achieve. Now, your workouts need to be structured in a way that work for you, and that's arguably the most important part of it. So when you look at your weekly structure, and this is what I'd say you need to really put in place and plan out, First of all, you need to look at where the 12 weeks is going to land you. So say we're looking at the schedule and we're really going to aim to get everything ready by the end of May, sort of like June time. So that's the schedule that you're really looking at. Now, by that point, you need to know what is the weight exactly you're going to lose by that point. You need to have a number in your head. If you've not got a number in your head, say like 5 kg, 7 kg, 8 kg, whatever it might be that you want to lose, it makes it very challenging to stick to something because you are not working to something that's explicit. Each week when things change with your weight, you don't know how far you've got left. You don't know what you need to achieve from it, and it just feels really wish-washy, and things that are wish-washy, it's really hard to stick to. You need to have something that's really objective in front of you so that you know exactly where you're going. Now, so that's your finish line, and you need to know the numbers. Now, with your fitness journey, and this is where you might want to get a pen and paper if you've got one in front of you, you need to make sure that the workouts you're putting in place are A, you're going to see results from them, but B, they fit around your lifestyle. So the next task you need to do is write out your structure of your week and see where it's manageable for you to get workouts in. Do not go in and be like, I'm going to do 6 workouts a week from the get-go, because it is just not going to be feasible for you. It's not going to be manageable. And what happens is you're going to go all in week 1, maybe week 2, and then by the time it gets to week 3, you're just not going to be able to sustain it over the 12-week period. A better method would be looking at the structure of your week and thinking, okay, I think maybe 4 workouts would be manageable, but I know I'm very new to this, so let's start with 3 workouts per week. I've got a busy job. I know I get tired by this point in the week. I might not feel like going to the workouts each time I'm doing it. So make sure that you can take control of that and you're planning them in a way that you need to be able to plan them in a way that fits around your busy schedule. So take ownership of it and be realistic, because like I said, the worst thing that you can do is put these plans in place and not actually be able to meet the plans. Now, the second area is making sure that these workouts are effective. Now, this depends on your goals. If your goal is a running goal, obviously you're going to want to build some running in there. If your goal is purely fat loss, you might want to be thinking about, okay, do I feel confident enough going into the gym? Your number one tool for fat loss is going to be strength training. It's as simple as that. If you can build some element of strength training in there, building some weights in there, it is going to help you so much with your journey, because number one, it increases your muscle mass. That helps change your body composition. And number two, it helps support your metabolic rate. So what happens is when we are turning our fat basically into muscle and growing muscle, our body naturally starts to burn more calories, which means as you go through this process, you're not going to have to keep cutting your calories down and down and down. Now, if you are wanting to lose weight, the worst thing you can do is just throw so much cardio at yourself, because cardio, yes, it burns calories in the moment, but it has no long-term effect. So you really need to look at a plan that supports resistance workouts. Now, if you do not have a gym membership or you don't feel confident going to the gym, it doesn't mean you can't still see results, because there are so many at-home workouts you can do that support with strength gain, that support you to gain that muscle. Even if you've not got weights at home, you can do body weight exercises, which actually are really, really challenging and tricky. So you're not stuck, but you need some element of sort of resistance training in there to help you get to where you need to be. Obviously, if you want to build in more running because you've got a running goal, then that's absolutely fine, but you need to be strategic with where you're going and what you need to get in, because all of these things come together to see those long-term results. So next, it's all about the nutrition side of things. So this side of things, what I'm going to go through, I'm just going to have a little look, check we've got no questions. Mindset. So lots of you are actually nutrition and mindset, which is interesting. So hopefully this bit will be helpful. What I'm going to do is show you now exactly how to work out your calories as a starting base for your fat loss journey. So if you're going to start your journey on Monday, these are the calories that you're going to go away with and you're going to put in place, so you know exactly what calories you're going to start with Monday to help you with your fat loss. So basically you've got different steps here that I'm going to talk through and explain. You might want to write these down as you're going through them. If you have any questions as I'm going through this, drop it into the group chat, because I'll go over it in a bit more detail for you. But yeah, I wanted to help you as much as I could, and I wanted this to give you some like actionable steps to come away with, so that you could be like, okay, on Monday I'm actually going to do this and trial it. Okay, so number one, you need to work out your baseline calories. So you can do that with a calorie calculator on the internet. If you're struggling, drop me a message on Instagram and I will help you out. Like, absolutely fine, not bothered. I'll help you do that. So you need to work out what your baseline calories are. Now, this gives you a rough estimate of where your calories are at. It is never going to be 100% accurate, because we haven't got scans and things like that you're going to be doing. It's always a bit of a rough estimate, because everybody's body has been through different in their terms of their history, in terms of your history of exercise. It's not as easy as just plugging in your weight and height and all of that, but it gives you an idea. Now, what you're going to do is stick to those calories and implement those calories for 14 days, for 2 weeks. You're not going to change them. No matter what happens to the number on the scales, you're not going to change those calories for 2 weeks. So for example, if your calories are 1800, if that's the number that comes out, you're going to stick to those calories for 2 weeks. Now, what you're going to do for those 2 weeks is track your weight daily. Now, I don't always promote this, but I do think if you're going it alone and you're wanting to give this a go, it's a really useful tool to get yourself started. The reason I'm saying track it daily is because your weight will fluctuate throughout that 2 week period. I don't want you to track your weight daily for the whole 12 weeks, but for the first 2 weeks, it can be really strategic in terms of seeing whether these calories are right and wrong for you. So for the first 2 weeks, you're going to, also, if this is helpful, guys, just pop me a little message. I don't want to feel like I'm just bombarding information at you. So just pop me either like a thumbs up if you're on the live, or if you're in the group chat, just like give me a yes, this is helpful, or all good, or something, so that I know that it is actually useful for you and I'm not just rambling at you, because I know this side of things is like a lot of numbers. But I want to make sure that you're coming away from it with like really useful information. So track your weight daily for those 2 weeks, because what you can do is during those 2 weeks, what you can do is really record where your weight is going and what it looks like over that period of time. So write those numbers down as you're going through the 2 weeks. Now, what you need to do is, after you've done those numbers for the 14 days, you need to get an average for week 1, so for the first 7 days, and then you need to get an average for week 2, which is the second 7 days. Now, looking at those two averages, if in week 1 that number is higher than week 2, then it means that you have obviously lost weight over that time. And if that's right and you have lost weight, then absolutely fine. You stick to those calories that you've been working on already. You do not need to change anything at all. Now, if your calories have gone up, then obviously you need to start to decrease your calories down again. The reason being is because if they've gone up, maybe those calories were a little bit too high for you, and so you need to look at reducing them. If they stay the same, again, you're going to look at reducing those calories. And that gives you a rough idea of where you can go with your calories, what you can do, and what you can use as a starting point. You do not want to jump straight in and be like, okay, I'm going to try and eat 1200 calories, because you're not going to last on it. It's not going to be realistic. Nobody should be putting their calories under 1500. It's not healthy. You need to be looking at another way of implementing the fat loss journey if that's sort of where you're at with it. But you don't want to be putting yourself in a position where you're putting your body in starvation mode, because you're not going to see those long-term results. You're not going to see that longevity with it. So that gives you an idea on the nutrition and what you can achieve from the nutrition side of things and how that looks. So also with the nutrition, it's not just about the calories, but you want to be looking at the quality of the food as well. So things like your protein sources, you want to make sure they're nice and high quality protein sources from, like natural whole foods. You want to make sure that you've got high quality carb sources and really good quality fat sources as well, because the amount of food that you're eating and the type of food that you're eating, it's not just about calories in, calories out, because the calories that you've got, if you're eating sort of ultra processed food all the time, it's not going to fill you up. It's not going to make you feel sustained from the process. So it's really important that you are thinking about the bigger picture there as well and looking into the foods that you're actually eating. Now, this is Chloe, and I just want to show you another journey of one of my clients that have done absolutely amazing so far. So this is her journey. This is her 16-week journey between these two photos. I think she's actually further along now. So this second photo is a more recent one. So she's lost even more weight. But from when I was looking at these and when I kind of did the comparison, she'd actually lost 11.9 kg in that time and did absolutely amazing. So again, she's super busy. She's got children at home. She's trying to work around her lifestyle. And you can just see the changes that she's managed to make from implementing those things with her workouts, with her nutrition, and basically being able to get to where she needs to be. So yeah, big well done. And I think it is often about just putting those things in place. So next of all, I want to chat a little bit around mindset and how we can implement everything with our mindset. So what could go wrong on this journey? Really important to think about. What are the potential barriers that could crop up and what could get in your way as you're going through this journey? You are not going to feel motivated 100% of the time. I think this is something that we all really, really struggle with. There will be days when you come away from this fat loss journey and you're like, I feel like rubbish. I don't feel confident in myself. I just feel like giving up. The scales aren't budging. It's so normal, and that will happen. When that does happen, what you need to bear in mind and what you really need to think about is those long-term results. And this is where consistency is so important, because motivation will come and go. But if you've got control of good consistency throughout your journey, that's where you'll see those long-term results come in. And this is where the work that we spoke about at the start of the session about planning everything out, mapping everything out so you know exactly where you want to go and how long it's going to take you, what numbers you want to lose, are so important, because if you've got them in front of you and you've got your plan and you know it's going to work, then even if you are feeling like that, you know you just need to show up and get the plan done. mindset hacks as well, little things that can really help you with your journeys, things like accountability. You know, the girls inside the program are great at supporting each other. They always help each other with accountability. But you can do this as well. Get a friend, a family member, get your partner, get your mum or dad involved. Make sure that they know what you're doing and what you want to work towards as well. If you're going this alone and you're not telling anyone about it, as soon as somebody offers you some Maltesers, you're just going to go for it and eat them because you're not used to having that account. You know, it's really hard when someone's sort of offering you those things, and you do need to have that accountability there to help you. It's so important. Also, tracking your progress can really help with that mindset of being able to get there, so you can see the progress that you're making as you go through. There's little hacks as well, like for example, if you wanted to get up to train in the morning, get your gym clothes ready the night before, make sure that you've got your workouts scheduled in so you know exactly what exercises you're doing as well throughout the process. Because if you know what exercises you're doing when you show up at the gym, it takes the thought process out of it. You're not just going to go and be like, oh, I'm just not going to, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to mess around a little bit. You're going to go and you're actually going to want to go and do the workout and do a good job because you've got the recordings there of what you need to do. But yeah, I think it's just about not being too harsh on yourself because accountability, I mean, mindset comes and goes with a journey like this. It is so normal for that to happen. And you just need to know that it will happen and you will get to the point where you do lose that motivation. And you need to know that if you do get to that point where you're losing the motivation, it's okay, it's normal, but you need to have something in place to allow yourself to show up to be consistent, even if that's happening. So you need to have something in place that's going to make sure that you're getting up and out of bed in the morning, you're setting your alarm for 5:45 in the morning still, getting those gym clothes on and getting to where you need to be. And I think it is just about really trying to think about that long game for you, the changes that you want to make and how important this journey is for you. Having that why at the end of the day, like why you want to do all of these things. So some next steps from this is I'm hoping that you've been able to come away from this with some tools to really be able to start and implement your fat loss journey ready for the summer. I hope you know a little bit more around sort of working out and how that's helpful, your nutrition, what you can put in place for that, effective goal setting and what's realistic for you. I hope all of these things have sort of helped you to get to where you need to be. Some little freebies here for you in terms of where to go for support, and if you're listening on Instagram as well. So we've got my YouTube channel, which is just at Chrissy Morris, where I'm putting on weekly videos on there to help you mainly with mindset, really helping you navigate that world around sort of keeping yourself nice and motivated and accountable. And my podcast, which again, I upload onto there twice weekly, and I've got lots of guest speakers on there and things that you can chat to, you can have a listen to, which just helps you unpick and hear about other people's stories, their versions into fitness, and again, lots of mindset hacks, lots of hacks around nutrition, lots of hacks around hacks around workouts as well. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Now, as a bit of a special treat for those people who are in the masterclass, or maybe if you're listening on the Instagram live, I am doing a bit of an exclusive offer for my March intakes, which is only going to be running for the guys through the masterclass. So you'll save 25% off the program. This is my 90-day blueprint program, which is going to help you get to where you need to be in the summer. If you are one of the ladies in my program already and you want to hear more about this, then I am opening the offer up to you. So message me the word masterclass after this, and I'll talk you through how it all works. If you're not one of the ladies in my program already and this is something new to you and you want to hear a little bit more around it, then again, I'll be opening up the offer to you guys as well, helping you save 25% off the program. So it's a massive saving. But yeah, DM me the word masterclass. I hope that was useful. Any questions, ping them into the chat for me, please. I'm just having a little look through now, and I feel like it's all about your goal setting, which is really, really good. I love that. 5 kg. Yeah, so we've got some numbers in here. That's what we wanted to see. If one thing, like, come away from this thinking, like, in the next 12 weeks, I want to, like, lose this amount. Like, have a number in your head of what you want. But yeah, thank you guys, because this has been great. It's been so good to, like, collaborate with some new people and see some new faces on here as well. I've really, really enjoyed sort of like being able to talk to some other people. It's nice doing these bits that are the free things because I get to see new faces and new people on here. And if you've tuned in for the Instagram live, thank you so much as well. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you all. And if you want to hear a little bit more around this, DM me the word masterclass. And I will catch you all on the next one.